What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Cosmos. I'm next to three very handsome gentlemen for the first time in C.O.C history. Well, actually, I've been next to you guys before. But Andrew, welcome. Dari, welcome. Mila, welcome. This is episode 28.
You welcome.
Welcome. Yeah.
Welcome to my own house.
Yeah. This is C.O.C headquarters. What are we gonna do today? We're gonna break down this awesome Galaxy season with some awards. We'll do DPOY, OPOY. Is it OPOY?
Yes.
And then MVP, our biggest loser, and
Best young player.
Yeah, our best young player. Let's jump into it. Let's start with defensive player of the year, Mr. NGF Andrew.
Yeah. So last night we were back at the press conferences and we were speaking with the media, and they just got a survey for player of the year, kind of what we're doing now, but officially Galaxy Awards. And really the consensus is that there's one real option, but for me it's going to be John Nelson, someone who's really, I think, stepped a lot this year, grown a lot in his game, mainly because he's just had so many more minutes. A bit unfortunate that Julian Aude wasn't really available for so much of the year, but that gave Nelson a platform to really show what he's about. If you guys go back and watch the press conference, we got to speak with him, and he just talked about how this year especially he's had to show a lot more of his offensive side of the game. And when I spoke with him, I kind of just brought up that there's this consensus amongst Galaxy fans that of the two left backs, Julian Aude is the much more attacking one. But I feel like this year he's made a really good argument, I guess, in his own favor. He mentioned that he's become more of a complete left back, or he's at least had the chance to showcase that. And, I mean, there was moments in last night's game, but really all year where you see him take this touch on the wing and then just drive into space in the midfield. Yeah. Really brave, really confident with that. Looks like a midfielder when he does it. Lays off a good through ball, great crosses, switches. Just really, sparking that attack. A lot of what we associate with Julian Aude, maybe not as flashy, doing scissors or whatever it is, or using pace, but it's similar end product. Assists and creating moments, creating movements. I think a lot of an assist he had for Harbour Miller, I don't think he got credited with it, but similar thing, just driving down, taking up that space and being confident on it, not looking like a defender in attack, but looking like a proper attacker. And yeah, just how much we've had to rely on him, how consistent he has always been despite having to, add a new element to his game. It's not necessarily easy, but, he's kind of starting to shake, at least in my eyes, that stereotype that he has, that he's a defensive player. I think he can do a lot on both sides of the ball, and we're going to get into a little bit later on, but he's someone I hope that stays for next year as well. Really, really good piece to have. So, yeah, for me, DP of the year, John Nelson.
Definitely some of the best business that we've done over the last 3 or 4 years. Just at his price. I mean, he's an MLS Cup starting left back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We have him for 400,000, something like that. So it's a good shout. Mr. Darius, who's your DPOY?
I'm going to give it to Cuevas. Nice. Even though I feel like a lot of his contributions have been going forward, he's been very serviceable at right back. And I feel like every time...
Sorry.
I got muted for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, we good?
Yeah, I think so.
I just feel like every time he gets the ball, he makes something dangerous out of it. Yeah. Cuevas, not much else to say. He's been one of our most improved players, I think. Last year he looked pretty raw, and he looks really complete this year. So I'm really happy to see his progression. I hope we can keep on hold of him for a while.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Mila, who do you have as your defensive player of the year?
I think despite all of my criticism of him over the year, I think I'm gonna have to go with Garces. Just based off pure defensive contribution to the team, we look like a different defense when he's not in the team. And I think that recovery speed's a big part of that. And hopefully, we've been saying this in the entire podcast, right, but hopefully he can learn to be a little less reckless and a little more level-headed in the game. And I think he's just the perfect center back for us if he reaches that point. Sky's the limit for him, but he has to stay on track and stay in matches for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he wasn't such a reckless asshole, it'd be a lot easier to be like, oh yeah, like he's for sure that.
Yeah, that tackle in the last game, the last ditch,
He's
was phenomenal.
he covers all of the holes for us, unfortunately, especially with Yoshida next to him. So it's a good shout. Do goalies technically count for this? Because I want to take Big Mitch if it's possible. Because I'm gonna give him his praise because I thought he was garbage. And then he cemented himself as the one, and we traded a MLS Cup MVP. So I think he deserves to have this spot. We've been awful defensively, so I don't feel comfortable really picking any defender. And I think he's averaging like 3 or 4 saves a game, which is nuts. We should never have to do that. I hope that that's the one thing that we address in the summer, and we'll get into that, is defenders and defensive play. So he's clearly going to be there next year. I mean, he's making $1 million, so we might as well keep him around, right? All right, let's switch gears to maybe a little bit of a better discussion. We were decent offensively towards the back end, so we can maybe have a discussion of who our offensive player of the year is. Let's start with Mila, then we'll go Dari, Andrew, and I'll finish this one off as well.
I'll hold off on the obvious choice for this one, I think, because I'm going to put them for a different award. I'd probably go with Paintsill towards the end of the season, especially, and just in tough moments for us. We talked about his heart a lot, and I think that's a big component of this terrible season, the bright spot of this season at least. And he contributed with goals as well. So he filled a role, and he's done that since he's got here. When we need him to play striker, he goes in there, and I think that he had huge contributions, especially to get us out of the wooden spoon for the time being, for the one game maybe. But yeah, he's definitely my offensive player of the year.
Yeah, without him, we don't get CONCACAF. He scores the winner in that one, so deserves praise.
I'm gonna piggyback. I agree. Joseph Paintsill. I just feel like he was, even if he was a bit, I mean, everybody was playing rough at the beginning of the season, but I feel like he was still contributing in his own ways. A little bit wasteful at times, but seems like he's getting better at shoring that up. That hat trick he scored recently was really nice to watch. So I'm encouraged for next year. I think we're going to hold on to him.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah,
a bit of a broken record here, but yeah, for me it's JP. I'd love for there to be, more options, but the fact just is that Gabriel Peck didn't have that great of a year. Nascimento maybe would have had a shout, but injuries, again, just not being available. You got Christian Ramirez, who, for that first half of the year maybe, he was our top goal scorer for a while with those 4 early goals. So, but again, injuries and then just sort of falling out of the team, falling out of favor. You can't really realistically consider him. Someone who I do think does have the best argument, at least for me, is Harbor Miller. I've been talking his praises all year, but really just love that spark he brings, the energy. A couple of goals, I believe 1 or 2, but a few. Some goal contributions. Unlucky not to get an assist. I think he didn't get it credited to him in one of these games, but I'm just super, super high on the kid. Really, really great that we're going to have him around for next year. Again, it's something I've mentioned before, but I think he's going to open up some options for us, especially in, this transfer market that we're going to be talking about. But having someone who, can perform at the level, it just lets you play around with other things. So super stoked on him. But all of that to say, I think it's got to be JP. Again, like Dari mentioned at the beginning of the year, maybe not as effective as we all would have liked, but who was? Nobody really.
He was also coming back from an injury. He didn't really have a preseason, so he did need to ramp up, unlike the rest of the squad.
That's right, yeah. And even though it did take him a little bit to get up and running, in terms of our attackers, he was the most consistent. Dari mentioned that hat trick, just a lot of goal contributions in recent appearances. But yeah, stoked for him that he's had his mom in town. In press conference, he's talked about that, she's getting some work done, but she's just at home recovering, that they get to pray before every game, they're together. So anemically, I think that's really big for him, and I think we saw that a lot in the second half of the year especially. So, shout out to JP, shout out to Mama Paintsill. but hoping for, a little bit of a hotter start in 26, especially with, CONCACAF Champions Cup coming up. But all in all, carried our attack for a lot of this year.
Yeah, he did. He was very good. And he ended up with the armband at the end of the year, which is, I think, something that we've toyed around with the option because of just what he brings mentality-wise. I love JP, so.
And longevity.
Yeah.
He'll be here longer than some of our other options at the captain.
DP,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go something different. I'm going to go Marco Royce here. Just because we sucked and he was really good for a long stretch of the season when we were awful. And any other season where you have a guy like Marco Royce that could have contributed that much, we probably are in the playoffs and we're probably making a push for something. Not having Ricky really hurt. I think he was asked to do a lot more than he's ever had to do on any team at this level of his age. Like, the amount of defensive work rate that he did as well, which is probably the argument why you guys are going to have him for MVP, is what I'm assuming. I just think that he was so poor in the beginning, and we haven't seen him at the end, that I'm not going to have him as my MVP for that reason, and I have someone else. But offensively, he was our engine for, 3 months of the year? If we didn't have him, we weren't scoring goals. In a team that should never have that as an issue with Paintsel and Peck and all of those guys. But he was really, really good. With that segue, I'll just go into my MVP, which is Edwin Soria. I think the guy who's gotten the most hate this year for no reason, but also has been asked to do everything from be a 6 to an 8 to a double pivot 6, mentor Sanabria, be the third center back in a lot of lineups, be a right back. I think he's just been asked to be Superman, and the reason it looks so bad is because we've been so bad defensively, but I couldn't imagine how many goals we'd concede if he wasn't there. I mean, the games that he got yellow cards, we got walked out of the park. We have no coverage for Edwin. Like, even next season, like, if we don't realistically get someone who can play meaningful minutes behind him, like, the games that he's not playing, we're in trouble.
I think there's an argument, though, that we didn't fill the depth there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Sanabria, in theory, was supposed to be a lot more attacking.
Yeah.
And, like, there's really no one to cover for Surreal.
No,
on the
there's not.
roster whatsoever. And then we can talk about some of the younger guys, but that's not the expectation when you bring them up.
No. And so
I don't know.
It's a roster flaw.
Yeah, definitely a roster flaw. And I think I have my gripes with the way he played at times during the season. But
Fair.
with the whole squad being not great, I think that definitely plays a part in that.
Yeah, just for me, he was Superman for all season. And how many games? He didn't miss a game because of injury. So he played every game that he was available for. And he was pretty fucking good for a majority of it. He just was asked to do too much. But that's why he's my MVP, is because he was asked to do too much. All right, Andrew, you're up.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to pick him as my MVP, but just to sort of piggyback on that Surreal point. Again, I think a player who's grown leaps and bounds this year, and especially in leadership. It's a point I've made a couple episodes ago. But I think of this moment in that game against Orlando that got us CONCACAF champions. In the build-up to that goal, you just see him directing Elijah Winder, telling him exactly where to go. And especially when we're talking about this midfield with so many younger players, Sanabria, we haven't seen a lot of, but Winder, Diego Fagundes, who's kind of had to redefine himself a lot this season. They're all learning. They're all taking a direction, essentially, from Edwin Soria. He's really the one guy there who really knows what he's doing. And he's had, like Dylan said, basically carried this midfield throughout all of the year. And I think just as a leader, the growth there is really, really, I think, significant, special. I think he's someone I'd keep an eye on for having the armband at some point next year. I think he's earned it. And, yeah, I mean, I've just really, really loved his contribution. I definitely agree with you, Dylan, that without him, the midfield would be a lot scarier. But, yeah, just love what he's done to lead it. In terms of my MVP, though, it's tough. I want to bring up Mikovic as well. I know he had a really, really shaky start of the year.
Yeah.
But the way he picked it up, turned it around, was really, really stellar. Single-handedly keeping us in a lot of games, winning us a lot of points, which, a lot of our outfield players early on didn't necessarily. So someone to highlight. But I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna say Marco Royce as my MVP, but I definitely understand Dylan's point that if we're talking a season-wide award, maybe not the best candidate because there was like the middle of the season was really when he blew up. He had this massive, massive peak, and we needed that. Again, another player who directly got us points. I believe still leading us with goal contributions. I think maybe JP.
He may have passed him, but
with the hat trick probably helped him. But again, for a lot of the season, still doing that. And he didn't really play at all at the beginning of the season.
No.
Kind of similar to JP, but Royce was out for a bit longer and still, passed him up really, really quick. So just all in all, in terms of our final point haul, I don't think, we'd definitely be, I think, wooden spoon without those points that run from him. So again, it doesn't really do too much, but to not finish last, it's something. And without him, it's significant. So I think that contribution, just the direct impact, even though it was a really, really short peak in terms of the whole season, super important. And that's why he's my MVP.
fair enough. If he wasn't there, what was it, 17 games without a win would have turned into 20. How many games are there in the season? 30 something? It could have been all of them. All right. Dari, your MVP.
I'm going to go with Mikovic, honestly. Your highlight kind of inspired me, but I feel like he has been, I feel like it was only like the first maybe 3-4 games of the season where he was shaky. After that, he really locked it in. And, saved us a countless amount of points. It was ridiculous. Especially towards the end of the season, he just looks unbeatable. So it's really encouraging to see his development as a young keeper as well. He looks really mature. And it's good to see that he kind of took that hardship in the beginning of the season, took it the right way. I feel like it just says a lot for his mental, and I'm excited to see what he can bring. So yeah, I'll go with him.
Fair. I mean, I can't
definitely fair, especially with like the flip flopping earlier in the season.
Yeah,
to come back and like cement yourself.
It takes a lot.
Yeah.
Just on the mental side, I don't want to harp on this too much, but being in and out of that starting position, you think of that game against St. Louis, like that'll kill any keeper, that mistake. So just to push through that, overcome that, it just shows, another warrior, another one of those leaders we have on the pitch. So great to have him.
Yeah.
Your turn.
I think we all know who I'm going to say.
No, I have no idea who you're going to say. You haven't been consistent about this at all this year.
Royce is my MVP. And I think for all the reasons that you were talking about, and especially I think for the reasons that you don't want to give it to him are the reasons that he deserves to have it.
That's fair.
Because he contributed, a quarter, more than a quarter, 30% of our entire goals this season within such a short span of time. And granted, he's an aging Marco Reus. This is not prime Marco Reus. Aging Marco Reus who decided to get the most fit he's been in 6-7 years to play the fucking
6-7?
Not on purpose.
No.
But to play that role that he did with such high amounts of success and impact, I think is ridiculous, especially in the team that's not performing well. To just be all over the pitch at that age, to sneak goals in, to just will goals in, to find the pass that needs to be done, flair, all of it was very. You could see that he was world class at a time. I don't think I'd call him world class now, but you could see that the flair and the technical ability is definitely still there. And if we can surround him with the right players, I think, i.e., a Nascimento, the time where Nascimento was in the squad for an extended period was when Royce was also playing really well.
It's true.
So I think it's a good indication of what we can look forward to next season. And just the fact that he adapted physically, mentally, all season to just keep us fighting. He didn't need to do that. He just got here at the end of last season. Got his ring. Only ring.
Yeah.
Ever. So, I don't know. It just said a lot, just as a leader, as a player for the team, and just his contributions overall. I think he deserves to be the MVP.
No, it's a good point. He also did elevate the people around him, which I guess is a good point. It's different than Edwin, where maybe he didn't elevate everyone around him, but Marco actually made everybody around him better. Peck was better with him. Nasi was clearly better with him. Same with Payne. So it's a good point. Let's take a small break here because I think we're about 20 minutes in, and I don't want that to die on us. So we'll take a small break, and then we'll get into our biggest loser and then our young player of the year. And we're back. Our biggest loser, Mila.
Oh, yeah, I get to start.
Start us off with your biggest loser.
I thought about this while we were talking about all the other awards. And then I remembered a stat, and I'm going to go with Gabriel Peck as my biggest loser for this season. Just look at his shooting stat. The fact that he not only did he not contribute to GNA as much as last season by a significant amount, but the fact that he wasn't hitting the target, I think, is a scary one. And it's not that for his numbers it was bad. It was for the whole league that he was one of the worst shooters in the entire league. And I get the argument that there's no Puig, but this guy was just touted to go to Atletico Madrid a couple months ago. So if he is being looked at some of the best in Europe, then I would hope that he can contribute without a Ricky Puig. That's not saying that he needs to be out. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but it definitely needs to be improved upon next season.
Yeah.
For his sake and just for the Galaxy's sake, because he's a DP and it just wasn't enough.
No, for what he costs. I mean,
yeah, and I think the same went for Painso a little bit. The shooting just wasn't there, but the big difference is there was a change in mentality, and you could see that he was fighting and working to get it right, whereas Peck just kept missing, and it looked like there was either he just didn't put enough energy into the shot, or he's just so mentally checked out that there was no chance of them going in, and which is really disappointing because he was electric last season. But yeah, definitely needs to improve upon if he's going to be one of our DP options.
He might be the biggest loser personally, just because you were right. He was like on the cusp of getting moved. Like there was a chance that we weren't even going to keep him into the season, and now I'm looking at it as like that move might be gone. Like of how bad he's played. He's been better in the second half, but not to his level. And this is a guy who was newcomer of the year, had, what was it, like 17 and 13 or something?
Yeah, and a lot more to do without Puig, obviously, but it's that main stat that scares me because that has nothing to do with his contributions outside, off the ball. When he's in front of goal, if his conversion rate is that poor, not even to hit the target, then there either is something mentally that's an issue or they need to fix something in training with his finishing because it
shouldn't be that
bad after being one of the best players in the MLS last season.
Yeah, for me, there's two interesting points there. When you talk about Puig coming back, the issue this year I don't think has been a lack of chances. He's had plenty of shots every game. It's not like he's waiting for something to happen. He makes his own shot to his credit, but again, just that shot isn't good. And the second thing there is that it just doesn't seem like he's changing it up. It seems to be always the same, the same routine, the same trick, same shot. I remember last year, Greg Danny talking about with Gabriel Peck, something he can improve on is maybe stop looking for that finesse quite as much and start powering home some shots, start driving something home. That's something he talked about last year. It's something we've heard multiple times in press conferences this year. And we are not really seeing any change at all. So, I mean, I was at the open training recently, and it looked like, again, just the similar thing, the wing play, looking for a curler. It maybe needs to be driven into him a little bit harder. The coaching staff needs to be a little bit tougher on him and actually making the change. But to me, it seems like they're giving him the space to figure it out on his own. And, it's been about 2 years almost now of Peck in a Galaxy shirt. And we're just not seeing that change happening on his own. So I think just them to come down on him a little bit harder, in training, whatever it is, but you got to spark that change in him. Otherwise, on his own, he's going to keep on doing the same. And that doesn't benefit the Galaxy and it doesn't benefit him. Like you guys mentioned, those moves abroad are a little bit more of a stretch now.
Yeah.
After this season. So, yeah, I mean, next year, again, probably undoubtedly going to be better just in terms of the quality of chances he's going to get. It's going to be a lot harder for him to miss a tap-in than a curler from the 18. So, again, that's different. His numbers are going to look better. But when you talk about a player who makes his own chances, that's what, clubs want in Europe. Someone who can create that difference on their own at the top level. He can make his chances just fine. It's about finishing them. And if he's not doing anything different, yeah, it's just going to hurt him in the long run. So he really, really needs to make that change pretty soon.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, he just needs to find his shooting boots again. Yeah. But I think we've all watched this sport long enough, and sometimes you can lose them and they don't come back.
Yeah.
Which is the scary part.
Especially if you're forcing.
Yeah, and I think what you were saying about the quality of chances, I do think he had those earlier in the season, one-on-ones with the goalkeeper that were just terrible, terrible chances that he put out. And I think that definitely took a toll on his mental throughout the season, along with the way we were playing as a squad. But this is the time where it's do or die. We have to see how he adapts and bounces back from that. So next season, it's just big on that.
It is big. Dari, your biggest loser.
I will go with Zenka. He was probably one of the worst players I've seen play in a Galaxy shirt. And I've seen some bad players play for us.
Can I give you some hope real quick?
Yeah.
He's under contract next year too.
Beautiful. Another year of glory from our boy Zenka. But yeah, he was not good at all. Quite hopeless defending at points. It looked like he really wasn't even trying. Just like no desire. I'm sure he was trying, but I could not for the life of me see it. He was awful all year consistently. So I'm gonna give it to him.
I can't even say that we weren't warned because
the fans of that team.
Is it Anderlecht?
It was Anderlecht.
Yeah.
Anderlecht, they were clowning us.
They were like, "Oh my God, you guys signed this shitter. He's literally the worst player ever." We were
really
like, "Guys, there's no way he played for Southampton. He's got this pedigree."
Yeah, because I remember one he played for I think Huddersfield, but I mean he did get relegated. So I mean maybe
he
that
played
was
for Brentford too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was at Brentford when they were in the Prem. So
yeah, he sucks.
He sucks.
He really might be the biggest loser because there's a good chance that we just buy out his contract.
I think we should. I think there's nothing really to look forward to with next season with him, unless there's something that they're really seeing behind the scenes.
No.
But I don't think so. I don't think they've been happy with his performances.
He got his spot taken by a 24-year-old Ventura County kid.
Yeah, and that guy's pretty good.
Significantly better.
Yeah,
how do you pronounce his name?
Rindov.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, dude, if you're an experienced player that's played all over Europe and you've got national team caps and you get in your spot taken by,
I think he just got in his head too. Like at some of the tackle attempts from him that I saw were just.
He just listened to our podcast too much. He just knew that we were
raging on him every week.
He deserved it.
Yeah, he deserved it, and he deserves
your biggest loser. Yeah,
we'll give it 100%.
Andrew, I'll give my biggest loser, and then I'll flip it off to you. My biggest loser is Sanabria, and I'm pretty high on Sanabria, but I think he leaves this season as the biggest loser. Obviously, expectations were high because he was taking over Delgado, but mixed in with the injuries and just the not playing portion, he didn't look great in spots. I don't know if we're utilizing him the best as well. It might just be a system thing of like we're not giving him the platform to be great. But the reason that I think he's the biggest loser is Elijah Winder has taken his spot as that young player that could come into the midfield and really, I think, take his spot entirely. Like, I think there's a realistic chance that Sanabria is moved off this summer and Winder on a cheaper payroll and giving us that option of a U22 is potentially a better move. I mean, we spent big money for Winder in terms of the USL numbers, but I don't know if I saw enough from Sanabria this year in the minutes that he did play to make me think he's worth giving another year to.
I think there's something there with Sanabria, and on a higher quality team, we probably would have seen more progression in this game. But with the way we just didn't progress as a team throughout the season, so to bring in a guy from Uruguay,
the situation
and have him adapt is tough. But if we do reset properly and have a good season next year, I think he's a great depth piece to have. Late in a game, bring him on for some energy. If he can keep up with the pace of the game, then I think he'd be a great addition.
I guess I'm just concerned with the idea of him being a depth piece when the pressure is going to be so high on this Galaxy team to perform right away.
I think he's too much money for a depth piece too, no?
If we're going to get into the conversation about Fagundes later, like he might be. That might be a spot that you just have to move on. I'm not really
That's true.
sure. The season was so crap. Someone's got to move.
Yeah, and I think Fagundes is a good point in all this because he kind of did take that role
throughout
the season.
And
he started up higher up, and Fagundes has transitioned his play as he's getting older, and we've now noticed him slowing down. But the way he played that like deep lying playmaker role for us at times during the season was pretty good.
Yeah. So I just feel like everybody else that has had an opportunity in that spot that he was supposed to play has come away with something. Winder's come away with something. I thought Parente came away with some. Obviously, Fagundes did. And even Royce when he played kind of a little bit deeper. But everybody else did something, and his minutes outside of the one game against Orlando were just, they weren't great.
I think he offers a lot more physically than technically than a lot of our players, but that's the big issue right now.
Yeah, we don't have enough
We don't have enough of the mix, I think.
Yeah,
our
fair.
best technical players are slow and old.
Yeah. Missing Ricky hurt in that sense.
So that's where he is the catalyst in all this, because he has both of those.
That's a good point. All right, Andrew, your biggest loser. All right, Andrew, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, before I was so rudely interrupted by the camera, just talking about Christian Ramirez, I'll go ahead and go from the top basically, just because I'm not sure when exactly we lost that. But again, it's a hometown kid. It's unfortunate that his season kind of ended or went the way it did. But, while I do this, I kind of want to just highlight the good moments. The beginning of the year, he kind of had to emerge from a pretty difficult moment. He'd get subbed on, subbed off, and home fans would boo him. Everybody was doing poorly that year, but unfortunately, he was, a part of that system. And when your striker isn't scoring, they're going to hear it. And so for your hometown fans, your neighbors in a lot of cases, to go ahead and boo you as you're coming off, first scene with really, the club of your heart, essentially. I can't imagine the feeling there. That must have been really, really gnarly. But then pretty much the next game, he came back and started his little scoring streak. In that game against Herediano, first win of the year, that 4-1. That one felt really good. And, he was a big part of that. And then, got a couple of more in the next games. And for a good maybe half of the season was our leading goal scorer for a while.
Right.
So for him to turn that around was admirable. But unfortunately, that was kind of the peak of what he did, probably in a Galaxy shirt. But yeah, really just kind of falling out of favor. Nascimento really coming in to help and playing well. Didn't necessarily help with his minutes, but the striker position was just congested with Barry there as well, who, I don't think anyone really expected him to have a standout season, but just another player who didn't necessarily deliver. But there's all these options ahead of him, and it felt like he never really clicked with the system. Greg Vanney talked about how he'd be early on, at least, how he'd be a little bit slow to get to places, to get to the right spots. And I did feel like he improved that. But when there are just other options who maybe know the system better, can offer a little bit more energy, maybe more legs, they're always going to get to start ahead of him. Unfortunate probably that we won't see him in a Galaxy shirt again.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably still injured. I believe Vanney mentioned last night that he's a little bit closer. We'll see if he gets any minutes, but even if he's healthy, again, it's just tough to see him actually playing with those options ahead of him. So unfortunately, tough end to the season for what was probably a dream move for him to come home right after the team winning the MLS Cup. Difficult. And again, he went through some hardships in the year as well, especially early on.
Yeah.
He had to fly to Colombia pretty quickly, or he didn't even get to. He scored one of his last goals, I believe, on the day that his grandfather passed away. His grandfather passed away during that match. So, just a difficult time for him personally. Difficult to not see, your dream move work out. So I feel for him a lot. But unfortunately for me, he's the biggest loser.
Yeah. It's lucky we're not big enough, because I could get fucking clipped up to shit for what I said about Ramirez to start the year. And I don't know if you guys remember, but it was something along the lines of, I think he can replicate a decent amount of what Dejan Jovic does.
Yeah.
Nope.
I remember.
Nope.
I think a lot of that comes with the early goal scoring too. Sold a dream that wasn't real.
Yeah, that Portland game.
Yeah. But just like Andrew was saying, like, Nascimento coming into the team made you realize how
far off of it,
ineffective Ramirez and Barry have been in that position.
Yeah.
And I do think this will be super interesting to talk about when we do talk about transfers, because we currently don't have a striker
Yeah.
at all on the roster.
Yeah.
There's not a single striker unless you want to count Pencil there. So that's definitely going to be a talking point going forward. And I think Ramirez or Barry could have been in the biggest losers. Less so Barry, because there's less expectation.
Actually, I think Barry may have walked away as a winner.
I think he walked away with less minutes than he did last season, which is
Did he?
a lot less.
Well, we weren't winning games, so you couldn't bring him on.
Exactly.
We weren't gonna win any games though. Also, so it's like
He also went into the season as the striker number 3 and came out as a striker 2, which is I think more telling.
More
to Ramirez.
telling to the Ramirez
For sure.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I just think the position as a whole, we have a lot to look forward to, and it should be fun.
Yeah, it should be. Well, let's end this on a positive note. Young Player of the Year. This is the one time where we can be positive. The camera just keeps going out, so this is going to be a more audio based pod, which is fun. I'm going to put nice pictures of our faces, and we'll have the beginning portion at least.
We'll just have a slideshow of all of us smiling together.
So if you love hearing our beautiful voices, this has been the pod for that. Yeah, let's jump into our Young Player of the Year. Dari, you can start. We'll then go to Andrew. I'll go third, and Mila, you can finish us off.
I'm not going to steal Harbor Miller from Andrew. So I'll leave that for him. I'll go Chris Rindolph. What did I just miss? Why are you laughing so hard?
Because I told Mila you could finish us off.
This is the oldest clip us.
Yeah, so I'll go Chris Rindolph. I think he was a really good impact towards the end of the season. When we just could not escape the horrors that was Zanka. Chris Rindolph was our Lord and Savior. So I'll give it to him. His first name is Chris, right?
Yeah, it is Christopher.
I was saying, and I was like, that sounds right.
I'm
but I'm not
just
sure
gonna
if it
jump
is.
ahead and piggyback on that one, because
Sure.
that was also my choice. We needed him, and he rose up. And in terms of the young players, I do think he'll have a little bit more of a role in the team going into next season, unless we do make some surprising moves in the back.
Sure.
So hopefully he can develop something with Garces into the future, and I look forward to seeing him play. He seems very level-headed, and the neck brace is a plus.
Well, you just totally fucked up the order, so you won't be able to finish us off. So I'm going to finish you guys off now. That's how it's going to work. Andrew, you can go next.
Yeah, Dari mentioned it. I think if you've been listening to the pod, you know who I'm going to mention. It's going to be Harbor Miller for my Young Player of the Year. Just throughout the entire season, even, I was really, really impressed with him in that beginning run of games where things were just going really, really poorly. But to me, he was a light. He was a standout. I think of Tucker Lepley start to the season as well, kind of a similar role, but really, really bright. But again, Harbor Miller, 17 years old to start the season, getting good experience abroad in CONCACAF Champions. And again, just throughout the year, really just showing his level. And another one of the testaments, I think, to Vanny's infrastructure building, I want to say, in terms of building up the academy, instilling that play style. We talked about players like Sanabria Winder, who took a little bit longer to learn the system, to really gel with the team. But Harbor Miller just immediately jumped in and looked like he could play at this level. It was just about getting a little bit quicker, maybe getting used to the intensity, but I don't think even that took too long. He seemed to bring it a lot more than a lot of our other players. So just super, super impressed by him all year. Really glad he's got a couple of goals now under his belt, especially at home at the digs. It's got to be special to go from your academy playing in Ventura, whatever it is, to scoring at the first team stadium in front of the fans, even though probably not as many as there were last year, but still a special season for him. I think one he's going to look back on as maybe his breakout year, but really, really excited to see what he does for us next year. And I'd love to see us maybe shake this trend a little bit of shipping off our younger players as they start to peak, but wherever he goes, I think he's going to have a really, really good impact. So, super happy for him. Really, really just one of the bright spots. I love talking about him so much because it's just something really to look forward to.
Yeah.
But yeah, Harbor Miller.
Yeah.
Love him now.
He was great. On that note, we are Right Back FC. Julian Araujo, Harbor Miller, and my young player of the year, Cuevas. Look, I think he's our starting right back next year. There's a chance that Mickey Mane either is moved on or completely bought out, and I think that partially has to do with the fact that Harbor Miller is the backup.
I'm here for it.
It feels like the right thing to do. I don't know in terms of money, kind of what flexibility we really have. That might have to be someone, and I really like Mickey Mane. I personally wouldn't want to see him leave, but Cuevas was so good this year.
It's also an international spot that we could free up, right?
Yeah.
So
It might just be time. Like, well, we were so fucking bad that at some point you got to mix up the pot, and that's going to be my mentality, at least going into the summer. Is like the winter. So I mean, he was so good, and he was the bright spot for so many games where we just couldn't get anything going, and it was an early ball or it was a well placed cross, and he just made shit happen that other guys weren't.
yeah,
I'm such a fan.
More on the topic of Yamane. I don't think we should get rid of him just because of what he was able to do and how we were talking about him early in the season.
I thought he was going to be DPOY.
Maybe OPOY.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The way he was playing the 10 for us. So
I mean,
like, I think it'd be foolish to just ship him off right now when we just had a bad season. Like everyone played worse, and I don't think
How old is he now?
like 31.
30.
As a
Yeah, he's got
backup,
some years in him.
not necessarily every game type, but just when we need to play a different style, I think he's a good option. But then again, we'd have to look at the books and see
Yeah.
if it's even worth it.
I think that's the issue. Is he'll be
The
he'll be
cost.
32. He'll cost you a ton of money. Where I just feel like we maybe need reinforcements in other areas. And if we have two guys that have already proven that they can be starting level, like Harbor Miller, I mean, we could be talking about him as a starter in 2 years. Cuevas, I think, deserves the shot to at least prove that he's not that. So maybe it's more of a you keep Yamane till midway through the season and then you trade him for something. There's somebody in the league that will want Mickey Yamane.
I don't know. Do
I
you
wouldn't
think he
just cut him
stays in the
straight away.
league though?
I feel like he probably goes back to Japan.
Yeah, I mean, it's about probably the money at that point.
I feel like he joined us because he liked our project a lot,
And I think
specifically.
Yoshida. probably
Yeah, I think I
You
honestly
think that his
him and-
countrymen played a role in
his
that?
captain. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it did.
I think that Yoshida and him are both gonna bounce this year. Unfortunately, Yoshida, I think it's time, but Yamane, I just don't think there's gonna be any reason for him personally to stay after Yoshida leaves.
And I think Paint picking up that the captain's armband
I think-
is a good indicator of that too.
Yeah, and I think he's too good of a player to want to fight for his spot. I think
That's probably fair.
with a young player also, I just think he would go somewhere where he would be the outright starter.
Sucks. It sucks that we were this bad where decisions on players that I really like, I feel like we have to make. Like Julian Aude is going to be one that we talk about. I really like Aude, but it's one we have to make. There's
Well, I
somebody
think-
in the midfield. Look, I'd love to have Fagundes.
It looks bad because we have a bunch of players already that the decision's made. Like it's not even an option in our mind what to do with them. We already know we're shipping them off, and then we still need to make room for other people because they don't really take up much in
Yeah.
the overall budgeting
the
of,
cap.
of the cap. Yeah.
This league sucks. This league sucks.
America.
At least we're not relegated, right?
Alrighty, well, if you've stuck around through all the fucking shit that this setup has offered, which is you're gonna see video in the beginning, you're gonna hear audio in the middle, you might get a clip of video at the end, which I'm definitely not gonna want to do. So, but the most important part is that you stuck around long enough for this entire edge for me to finish off all of my friends for the first time in person, which is what's important at the end of the day, because on C.O.C. Network. We're just a bunch of kids. We're just a bunch of fans who want better. And that's what we're going to get eventually at some point. But I want to thank Mr. NGF Andrew, Mr. Darius, and Mr. Mila for joining me on this journey. Do you guys want to do a soundbite to thank anybody? Your mom? Okay, no.
I want to thank your mom. Without her, none of this would happen now. Shout out Mrs. Mom.
Well, that seems fitting.
Send her my number.
Mom, if you're listening to this, I'm not giving you Andrew's number, even though he's cute. Okay, cool. Well, from myself, Mr. NGF Andrew, Mr. Darius, and Mr. Mila. We have been Clash of Cosmos. This has been episode 28, and we will see you guys in the next one.
They're going to go alone. Still back! What a goal! It's 6. They just cannot stop scoring. The volley from Votto. Yes! San Jose carved open with a world-class pass from Ricky Pooch.
Glittering Galaxy, and Landon Donovan is the match winner.